Hello world. How you guys doing? Listen, I am excited today because we have yet another amazing entrepreneur that is going to grace the stage on today with his presence. He is one of the nominees in his industry, and I am a proud mentor of his as well. He's killing it. He's young, vibrant. Now, listen, why am I introducing this man? Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the stage Mr. Kofi Thompson. Sir, are you there?
Hey, my man, I am there and I'm feeling good. I appreciate the introduction. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Kofi, look, nobody can do it better than you, brother. Please just share with us who you are, what you do in your industry, and what makes you an amazing entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is Kofi Thompson. I am a retirement income planner and the founder of Zion Capital Management and a lead financial advisor here. I am, I'd say that most people that know me would describe me as a very hard worker. I love to grind. That's inside of work and outside of work. I'm a huge yogi. I'm an athlete. I hold a state record for Virginia's deadlift. Huge into athletics and about self-improvement, always reading, always learning more. Within my practice, I actually help people achieve financial freedom. And I got into this journey because I saw my parents unfortunately make really bad financial decisions throughout their life. A couple years ago, my father unfortunately passed away from esophageal cancer, and I really started to see what it was like to pass off debt instead of wealth. And I realized that I don't want anyone else to go through that experience again. So I made it my mission to start helping people live more abundantly and create a legacy that they would actually be proud of for
Absolutely.
themselves and their community.
Absolutely. Love it, brother. I love it. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are about to get ready to kind of go into Kofi's world a little bit. So we appreciate you guys. Please share this with every entrepreneur that is out there. It's young brothers like this that keep us going, right? So,
Mhm.
definitely, Kofi, appreciate you for taking this journey by his horns and running with it, brother. So
Absolutely.
I got some questions for you. So the first
Yeah.
question that I have for you is, when did you know you wanted to become an entrepreneur?
Man, I feel like it was always something that was like, I always say that, God knows our mission before we do, right? And I feel like it was always something that always attracted me about like kind of creating my own path, finding my own way. When I was younger, I remember this one experience I had when I was like in third grade, and we used to have these like bracelets, these like silly bands. And I remember going to school one day. I thought they were super cool. I knew they were super hip. And I ended up like coming to school with all these bracelets, end up selling these bracelets and made like $60, $70 all in one day. That was like in third grade. This was my first taste of like what entrepreneurship was. And it was so cool to me how I could just create value, find something that people wanted and make them happy, providing them a service or a good. Um, After that, I actually followed a track of medicine. And that was actually my way because I always knew I wanted to serve people. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go down the medical route. This is my thing I'm doing. So I was in school, I was learning, I was doing all the things. And then around like 23, 24, at that time, again, all the things started happening with my family. And I also came across the book, I feel like a lot of people do, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That completely changed my scope of what was possible and what I could do with my life. So after I read that, I was like, okay, I don't know, school is really the right route. I think I want to, create my own path and find a way that I can serve people in my own way. And first, I was like thinking about real estate, thinking about that journey. But again, I realized that I had this huge fascination of just finance and enabling people to empower themselves more. So I really like, I mean, it kind of fell into my lap. I remember someone had told me about what a financial advisor was. They described to me the career, and I was like, man, this is it. Like, I get to build relationships with amazing people over decades, help them live out their dreams more. And it's this, I guess it's the risk and reward part of it too. I love getting up every single day and seeing what I'm able to achieve for the people that I serve. So it kind of fell to my lap there. Yeah.
No, no, no. I appreciate that, brother. No, thank you so much. So, next question. When it comes to you're athletic, you're young,
Mhm.
vibrant. What does a typical work day look like for Kofi on a day-to-day basis, a week-to-week basis, month-to-month basis? Because entrepreneurs just want to know, how do I create that work-life balance, right? So, what does a typical day look like for you?
Yeah, great question. So I personally got rid of the idea of balance many, many years ago. And I believe that if you are going to follow an entrepreneurial journey, the reality is that we can't seek balance. Like, are you going to work for 8 hours, play for 8 hours, and then sleep for 8 hours? It's just not realistic. I believe that when you become an entrepreneur, it becomes a part of your life. And I think that's a really important thing to understand. So what a typical workday looks like for me is I get up typically around like 5:30 a.m. The first thing I do is I usually try to move my body because I'm like, I've been rested, I've been chilling for hours. I need to get my blood flowing. I need to wake up. I need to get in the zone. So that's usually me either getting a run in 3 miles with like a weighted vest. I do a ruck run. I'll hit the gym or I might do some yoga. After that, get home. I'm usually doing like a 15 to 20-minute meditation just to clear my mind. Really, I'm really big on like being intentional with the things that we receive, especially early on in the morning. So I'm usually doing a meditation about abundance, about clarity, whatever I really need in that moment. And then after that, I usually get into my routine, which is like just making a smoothie. Huge on health, so I'll do all the things, make my smoothie, and then I'll start grinding probably around like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Start going through my day, having, maybe emails or maybe going back and forth with my team to see what things we need for our clients. From 10 a.m. to around 5 p.m., I'm in meetings all day with clients, business owners that I work with, the people that are, high net worth clients, things like that. And then at 5 p.m., I'm usually starting to like chill out for the day. Things are slowing down. I may be like continuing to check emails, do some administrative work till like 6 or so. And then I try to just have the rest of that day to myself. I usually rock climb at the end of the day, or I might go to a yoga class. I also start salsa dancing as well too. So I really try to like fill my day up with activities, and then at the end of my day, I really try to have a nightly routine, which is me usually decompressing with a meditation, reading a book to decompress. But I usually try to cut off electronics by like 8 o'clock or so, just to give my brain, because I'm like many other entrepreneurs, we're all ADHD. We're very highly stimulated, very high energy. So I try to calm myself down to get into bed by like, 10, 11 o'clock or so.
Absolutely. No. And you know what? I'm glad that you gave us your observation on that work-life balance, right, Kofi? Because one of the things I always tell entrepreneurs is that you have to embody
Mm-hmm.
what it feels like or it looks like to you, right? Uh,
Absolutely.
you have to create that space for self in order for you to maneuver and be able to manipulate and control your day to
Mm-hmm.
make it productive. And I always tell entrepreneurs, I don't want you to be busy. I care less about you being busy. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to be productive. Because if
Absolutely.
you're productive, busy automatically comes into productivity, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to be productive. So I appreciate you just sharing that space with us as far as for like, what your work day looks like, right? Because it can inspire somebody who may say, well, I don't know how to implement this, or I don't know how to do this and this at the same time, right? So I'm glad that you were able to do that. With that, go ahead. Go ahead. You were gonna say something, Cole?
Absolutely, yeah. And I wanted to add two things on there. This is like I've been in my career space for the last about 5 years now. And when I started early on, I was definitely working a lot more. And I think like, especially starting any type of journey, it's like getting an engine started or getting a train started. You got to put a lot of energy in to get to the point at which that thing starts moving on its own. So especially when I see a lot of people and they're like, hey, I want to go into an entrepreneurship journey. And they're like, oh, can I work 4 or 5 hours a day? I'm like, well, you're comparing someone's stage 3 or 4 to your stage 1. You got to put in a lot of energy. And you look at any great person out there, like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jackson, Ray Dalio, they put in so much energy and time starting on, and they got to the point in which they had more consistency. So I think it's really important to understand, hey, like it takes a lot. I was working 12, 14-hour days for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important to know, hey, it takes a lot to get this thing started, but once it starts rolling, you have more regularity. And then the other thing I want to mention is, I realized that as I started, working more, I actually need to cut my work hours down,
Mhm.
because if I had a 12-hour workday, it would take me 12 hours to get my work done. But if I cut it down to an 8-hour workday, this is Parkinson's law, it'll take me 8 hours to get my work done.
Yeah.
So two
Yeah.
things I had there.
No, great advice. And I hope you guys are taking notes for that. And that's a great segue into my next question, Kofi. What motivates you?
Yeah. So my biggest motivation is my father, without a doubt. Um, Throughout his life, I saw him work extremely hard. And he always had dreams of impacting people in a major way, impacting his community, impacting the country. But unfortunately, because of his health, he wasn't able to achieve the dream that he had. And I remember this was a conversation I had. It was about 2 months before he passed away. And I remember like he had been diagnosed with cancer a couple months. It was like November. We were talking in like January or so. So it was a couple months after he got diagnosed. And I remember like I had just started my career. I really didn't like have many resources and things, but I remember, picking him up and I was like, hey, Dad, like, I want to give you, anything that you want. Like, what do you want to do? Like, I'll fly you to another country. I want to do whatever it is that you want to do. And I remember him telling me, like, I just want you and your brother to be successful. And so every single day I wake up and I know that he's looking down on us. And when I'm sitting there contemplating, am I going to hit the snooze button at 5:30? Am I going to get up? I'm thinking about the words that he said to me, knowing that I have to continue to not let his dream die and serve people and change the world in the best way that I can with the life that I was given.
Man, now that's powerful. Listen, if that's not motivation, I don't know what is, right? So no, Kofi, thank you for giving us that personal touch and feel on what motivates you. And I encourage and inspire anybody to find something, harness on what motivates you and what drives you, what's that dedication and what's that determination, and go with it, right? It could be, the way you're currently living right now. Your motivation is to get to a better place, right? And
Mm-hmm.
always remember that whatever motivates you now, grab on to something else that can reset that motivation. Because when you reach it or when you get there, then it's like, okay, now what? Right. So always
Mm-hmm.
make sure you're looking for motivation. Just want to add that tidbit in there. Last question, Kofi, and I'm gonna let you go for the day. Is how do you define success as an entrepreneur?
This is a great question because I'm going to premise this and say that success, especially in our society, is defined generally by like money, possessions, all those things that we see oftentimes on Instagram and all those, social media, all the things like that, right? So what I realized, because I was able to, build a six-figure business, I was able to, buy myself my dream car before I was 30, do all these things that I didn't realize could be possible. But I realized for myself that I have to determine what my own success means. And I believe that for every single person out there, they have to like I think whether you're starting a business in life in general, always think about what your definitions of success are. What are your goals? Because your goals may not be to have, a bunch of nice cars. It may not be to travel the world. It may not be these things, but think about what you truly want and if you are able to set a clear and defined goal and achieve that goal, that is success. And for some people, that may be, having a nice, reasonable house and having a garden outside and being able to water that garden, for 3-4 hours a day. For other people, maybe building a business that impacts the entire world. But I believe success is up to the individual. And it really is important to clarify your vision and clarify what actually makes you happy, what actually fills your cup up, and then run as fast and as hard as you can towards that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well put, brother. And I definitely agree with you 100%. Everybody has their own, and I tell this because people ask me all the time, they'll see me, Dr. Pitts, what does success look like? And I say, listen, you don't want me to give you what success looks like for me, right? Because you're talking about no sleep. You're talking about 20 years in, 30 years in, just going hard, just grinding. So you don't want me to define success from my scope, right? But you have to identify. Now, there's foundations that I can give you, right? Principles that exist in everybody's success. But you have to also create that particular lane. So Kofi, listen, man, you did an amazing job with giving us who you are. You told us what you do. You told us what motivates you. Most importantly, tell everybody how they can stay in contact with you, stay connected. And listen, guys, vote for him, right? He's going to need those votes for his space. You guys have been seeing me put up that flyer. He's in the legal and financial industry. Kofi is, you can tell he has the credibility. Most importantly, he's young and vibrant. Vote for him for the award show for his particular category. Support him. Share this. So his voting link will be in the comment sections as this video stays in the social media space. But Kofi, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you and how they can stay connected to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So best ways to stay connected. I'm on Instagram as Kofi the Creator, Facebook Kofi Thompson, LinkedIn Kofi Thompson, RICP. You can also visit my website, zioncapital.us. Feel free to also shoot me an email at kofi@zioncapital.us. More than happy to connect. You can shoot me a DM. I'm always sharing content about just lifestyle, financial literacy, things like that. So yeah, feel free to connect. I'm always happy to see different ways I can, increase your life, help you live more abundantly, and, give you more value than you're currently receiving today.
Absolutely, Kofi. Well, listen, thank you, brother. We appreciate you tremendously. Listen, guys, this is it, right? This is what the award show is about, is to put entrepreneurs like Kofi on a platform that gives him the recognition, that gives him the credibility, that gives him the reach to be known, seen, and heard, right? That's kind of what we lack in our industry. We are not noticed enough. People don't know where we exist. As you guys can see, he's very young, and we don't see a lot of that. So this platform, this award show, is to make sure that we get the recognition that we deserve, right? You guys give it to BET, you guys give it to MTV, you guys give it to the Stellar Awards. However, it's now our turn to now be able to be recognized and be noticed in our industry. So with that being said, we appreciate you guys. And you guys already know my quote: coming together is the beginning, sticking together is progress, but working together is success. My name is Dr. Casual Pitts, and stay tuned as we continue to keep interviewing entrepreneurs for this amazing platform.